being discriminated against by an agency that's receiving funding from you all. I live in New York City housing in the pink houses. Housing employees, some of the employees embezzled my money, my rent money. I said that I told them that I was going to take them to court for it. And so what they did, they're now hiding proof that I registered my cat, or that my daughter actually registered the cat. She was a tenant at the time, and even if she wasn't, she registered the cat on my behalf and submitted whatever papers needed to be submitted for the cat. I've had the cat since 2010. Well, I've had it since 2008, but my daughter registered her in 2010. I cannot take her back to the ASPCA when she was registered. It was freely done because I have Medicaid card. At the time my daughter registered the cat, she also had a Medicaid card. I cannot go back to get shots or an operation for the cats, or even to get shots, because once they operate on the animal, they put a tattoo there. They put a tattoo in the area where there is an incision so that the animal is not operated on unnecessarily. So the tattoo's there. It's there because we complied. Housing, because I'm going to take housing in court because they embezzled my money, housing is now claiming that I'm not complying with the cat, and they're trying to say that they're trying to file the holdover against me because they're claiming that I've had the cat for a long period of time and I didn't register the cat. The problem is that's not legal. I have a report from a person who used to be the Assistant Secretary for Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity. Her name his name is John Trazvilla, and on page, the name of the article is, its subject is Service Animals and Assistant Animal for People with Disabilities and Housing and HUD funded programs, both of which refer to my situation. According to page 2, it says, an assistant animal is not a pet. It is an animal that works, provides assistance, or performs tasks for the benefit of a person with a disability, or provides emotional support that alleviates one or more identified symptoms or effects of a person's disability, which my cat does. On top of which, according to page 4 of the article, it says, however, a housing provider may not ask a tenant or applicant to provide documentation showing the disability or disability-related need for an assistant animal if the disability or disability-related need is readily apparent or already known to the provider. I receive SSDI. It's my only form of disability. Housing cannot claim it didn't know because I have to provide proof yearly that I receive SSDI, so they know that I have a disability, so they don't have the right to question my possession of the cat because I have bipolar disorder. Housing in the past, 2003 and 2010, has attempted to evict me because I have bipolar disorder. What housing did this year, they conspired with Adult Protective Services, with New York City Human Resources Administration, and conspired with Adult Protective Services and made up a story that I'm neglecting myself and that I'm not paying my bills. That was just to get them in the house to say that I'm okay. Now that they're saying that I'm okay, which basically I am, but bipolar disorder is chronic. You have good days, as with many chronic diseases. You have good days and you can have bad days, but bipolar disorder is not curable. All right? I have it. It's never going to go away. But what housing did, in order to prepare a case against me, to evict me, to stop me from filing the complaint based upon them embezzling my money, they went to Adult Protective Services so that they can come and say that she's okay. Now that they say that she's okay, now they're going to say, well, she doesn't need a guardian ad litem. This was malicious. It's malice with forethought. It's But even if they didn't get...
If you are satisfied with your recording, press 1. To review it, press 2. To delete and re-record your message, press 2. To send your message now, press 1. To mark it as important, message sent. To disconnect, press 1. To enter another number, press 2. Please call again. Thank you. Goodbye. DOS enforcement programs is not available. Record your message after the tone. When you've finished, you can hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, ma'am. This is Cheryl Uzamir speaking again. I just wanted to leave some more information with you so that you can proceed in a manner that's constitutionally viable. Besides the information that I left in my last message, I also need to advise you of the following. All right? Hold on, please. Okay. Just close the current tab. Here it is. This is the information of which I need to advise you. Besides the fact that New York City Housing is receiving funding such that federal law absolutely supersedes state or city law, and it absolutely supersedes state and city law insofar as you all are actually funding New York City Housing Authority. They should be obedient. However, on the federal level, on the state level, and on the municipal level, housing is still required to obey the law with reference, not just with reference to the fact that I have an assistant animal, but just the law with regard to the principles behind stare decisis as they pertain to the landlord's responsibility to either not accept the rent until a defective condition that the landlord claims is repaired, or to accept the rent and waive the right to complain about it. In the case Atkins Waste Materials versus May, this is the New York State Court of Appeals case, black letter law, that establishes that once a landlord accepts rent, in spite of the fact that the landlord complains of and has actual notice of a defective condition, the acceptance of rent waives the landlord's right to complain. They are familiar with that. Atkins Waste Materials versus May is the New York State Court of Appeals case. New York State Court of Appeals is the highest court in New York State. There have been a number of cases that were appealed by New York City Housing Authority. One case is New York City Housing Authority, Webster Houses versus, should be Christian, but it looks like Crittenden, 240 New York Slip Up, 51227U. This case quotes or cites Atkins Waste Materials versus May. There's another New York City housing case, New York City Housing Authority versus McNeil, and it's New York Slip Out 52208U, 17 miscellaneous, 17 Title 17 of miscellaneous 3D. That's another reporter 1130A. housing has already had two cases, two bites of this apple, and they were told in both cases, you let it slip, you took the money, you waived your right. Why is housing doing this? I don't get it. Outside of the fact that I'm going to take them to court for embezzling my money, why is housing doing that which they already know is illegal? What is that? Now, this is I've already showed you the state level. I've now showed you the federal level. I've showed you the state level. Now, this is what New York, the municipal government says. New York City Administrative Code 27-2009.1, Legislative Declaration. The Council hereby finds that the enforcement of covenants contained in multiple dwelling leases which prohibit the harboring of household pets has led to widespread abuses by building owners or their agents who, knowing that a tenant has a pet for an extended period of time, seek to evict the tenant and or his or her pet, often for reasons unrelated to the creation of a nuisance. When New York City Housing said, or when the Adult Protective Services came to my house was spotless. I didn't know they were coming.
The maximum recording time allowed. If you are satisfied with your recording, press 1. To review it, press 2. To send your message now, press 1. To mark it as important, message sent. To disconnect, press 1. To enter another number, please call again. Thank you. DOS enforcement programs is not available. Record your message after the tone. When you've finished, you can hang up or press 1 for more options.
As I was reading, legislative declaration pertaining to New York City Administrative Code 27-2009.1, the council hereby finds that the enforcement of covenants contained in multiple dwelling leases which prohibit the harboring of household pets has led to widespread abuses by building owners or their agents who, knowing that a tenant has a pet for an extended period of time, seek to evict the tenant and or his or her pet, often for reasons unrelated to the creation of a nuisance. As I started saying to you, housing made arrangements. They were, what do you call them? Preemptive strike arrangements with Adult Protective Services to come over the house just to say she's all right in order to eliminate my right to request a guardian ad litem. When they came over to the house, my house was spotless. I have a cat. They did not smell cat pee. They didn't see any, maybe some cat fur, which is hard to clean up, but even still, my house was clean. No one in the projects where I live can complain about my keeping my cat in a dirty fashion because I keep my house clean. I keep my litter box clean. My cat is not a nuisance to anyone. All right. So, and the people that came over from Adult Protective Services can confirm that the cat is not a problem. All right. Now, New York City Bar Association also has made statements with regard to companion animals. Yes, they have it. I could read it to you, but it'll be up in my website soon. Question number 16 that was answered by the New York Bar Association. What happens if I live in New York City Housing Authority housing? The answer is some 180 apartments owned and operated by New York City Housing Authority are exempt from the benefits of the pet law, but under federal law, as you already know, companion animals are allowed in federal housing under certain conditions. Okay. There's also the U.S. Code, Title 42 of the U.S. Code, Section 1437Z, pet ownership in public housing. There's no legal reason for them to do what they're doing. So I need to first explain, as I stated, I'm getting ready to file harassment charges against them, but I also need to let you know that I have a lawsuit that I started. My website is, and I've uploaded it to my website. The website is The Crimes of Senator Uzamire. That is the www.thecrimes with the S at the end of Senator Uzamire. That's U as in unicorn, Z as in zebra, A, and as in Mary, ERE.net. Now, if you go to that website and you click on Chapter 6, you find that there's the beginning of a lawsuit there. The name of that lawsuit is Cheryl D. Uzamire versus various Ashkenazi leaders and Ashkenazi Judaism as a hate group. The reason I'm informing you of this is because it appears that you're Ashkenazi. You need to understand that I will drag you into court with a quickness. I am absolutely familiar with your law of Moser. Your law of Moser says, and let me go to your website, the website for the rabbi who, on Jews who commit crimes, and it says, even though Jewish law expects people to observe the laws of the land, and even imposes that obligation as a religious duty, the Talmud recounts in a number of places that it is prohibited to inform on Jews to the secular government, even when their conduct is a violation of secular law. So what we have now here is a misuse of the First Amendment to invoke and enforce a law.
You've reached the maximum recording time allowed. If you are satisfied with your recording, press 1. To review, to send your message now, press 1. To mark it, message sent. To disconnect, press 1. To enter it, please call again. Thank you. Goodbye. DOS enforcement programs is not answering. This mailbox is full and cannot accept new messages. To disconnect, press 1. To enter another number, press 2.